One question related to that. Obviously, Prime Minister Cameron, as you're well aware, was just recently in Scotland making the case for retaining the nuclear fleet and basically nuclear capacity against the backdrop of the great uncertainty now with North Korea and other proliferation. And obviously, there's a lot of questions about where does the nuclear submarine fleet go? There aren't locks in the rest of England, and I guess that might be the UK and London's problem of trying to figure this out. But how would you respond to some of the issues that Cameron raised about, why get rid of, the nuclear capacity right now?
Well, I mean, firstly, I'm encouraging Prime Minister Cameron to make as many visits to Scotland as possible between now and next year, and hopefully he'll agree to a television debate, since he wants to lead to no campaign, and he is the Prime Minister who signed the Edinburgh Agreement, who wants to stop Scotland becoming independent. I'm the First Minister who signed the Edinburgh Agreement, who's the leading advocate of Scotland becoming independent. It would seem highly appropriate if we were to debate that directly, not preferably on a nuclear submarine, but probably in a television studio. To be serious for a second about, I'm going to phrase this as carefully as I can. I mean, I think in a strategic sense, to argue that you need a Trident capability Vanguard submarine fleet to defend yourself against North Korea is, in a strategic sense, to take leave of your senses. The Trident submarine fleet was designed to penetrate the defences around Moscow or Beijing. It was designed have the capability of overcoming the most sophisticated defence framework. It was never designed as a deterrent against a rogue state which doesn't have the capability to reach the UK by several thousand miles at the present moment. And if anyone argues that we need nuclear weapons of that scale and capability to defend against North Korea, then that would be a recipe for virtually every country in the world possessing nuclear weapons. It would be the most extraordinary thing, as opposed to relying on a collective defence structure, which most rational and sensible people would do. I would argue that you should rely on that defence structure. I mean, I think my own view would be if Germany can get by without an independent nuclear deterrent, then I think the United Kingdom should manage that as well, in my estimation. But if you weren't persuaded of that argument and you wanted to have a deterrent against North Korea, you certainly wouldn't have the Trident ballistic submarine system. That's just an extraordinary argument. So I think basically the Prime Minister was looking for a rationale for spending £100,000 million sterling over the next 50 years in renewing the Trident submarine fleet and basing it fast lane. And I think to use North Korea as a reason for that is pretty superficial and flawed.